Howdy peeps, welcome back to the channel for another inbox review or look around, see what's in a kit. Now you may have seen my review last week where I reviewed the Bronco P40 Warhawk, and I did mention about their stugs being rather nice kits. A couple of people seemed interested, so I thought I'd actually review one of them. Let's see what we get in the box. Usual, nice artwork, picture of a stug, some with a Panzer Shrek, something like that anyway. World War II rocket launcher. I never call them missile launchers from years of wargaming because it contains the word miss. On this side we have some features, so it has tracks, a gun. I'm not entirely sure what they're trying to show. Decals and etch. So kit number CB35116, copyright 2016. We do have a couple of different marking options and gun options. This is a 2-in-1 kit. So we've got the long barrel in the Dunkelgelben, looks like white or something to me, and a couple of the short barrel Stug 3s with the Panzer Grey. You don't normally get a huge amount of marking options with armour kits usually, so that's not really a surprise. As we open the box, we can see we've got our Bronco card, our instructions, and a bunch of plastic. So let's get started, shall we? Move that out of the way. Move that out of the way, and we shall begin. I shall move the instructions, decal and the Bronco card out of the way, find somewhere I can balance them that's not on something that's just been painted, and let's have a little rummage in the bag, in the box, sorry. First of all we have the lower hull. Seems as good a place as any to start. Nice quiet bags as well. So we have, in this we have the hull, a silk sprue, I won't get them out and you probably won't be able to see them, tiny little wing nuts, which even if we don't use on here we can, use on future builds. Braided copper tow cables, much better than the steel stuff that Dragon gives you because it's just a lot more flexible and forgiving and just works better. And we have our lower hull. No working suspension. And looking around it at first glance, excuse a little bit of a primer left on my fingers. I've been priming up a Takom AX13. But anyway, back to this, which is what we're interested in. We have typical Bronco moulding, very crisp, clean, good mixture of raised and recessed deep panel lines, nice surface texture on the bottom, none on the sides, a little on the front and rear, although I'm not sure whether it should be rolled steel, steel plate, cast or anything on these. And there's a nice amount of detail on them, but knowing Bronco there'll be a whole load more that gets glued onto here. If I we just bring it up a little closer so you can see a bit better the level of the panel lining and the riveting, etc. And we do have that scallop line along the top edge of the hull, like so many people are fond of pointing out. I'm guessing there's a join or weld or something like that. The usual check. That's not warped, so that's a good start. If you start out on a tank with a warped hull, then you're just going to be fighting it all the way through. Your suspension arms won't lie flat, and the top hull, the upper hull won't fit on the lower hull, and all those joyous fun and games. Let's grab another sprue. It's got larger parts on second. So this is a Stug 3 or Sturmgeschütz. I've not built a Dragon Stug 3 or Stug 4 for that matter, but I have built the Panzer 4 and I have built a Panzer 3 as well. So up until the level of the casement, they're virtually identical kits. So I've got an idea and an inkling of where I'm going. So sprue A, we've got the main upper deck, the fenders, all manner of little greebly bits, which I'm guessing they're going to be exhausts, maybe the gun trunnions, some periscopes, idler arms, a seat by the looks of things, so we're going to have some interior. Again, like a lot of kits I've reviewed lately, no flash, crisply moulded, nice details, and no obvious annoying ejector pins that are going to get in the way. I'm not entirely sure how much interior this has. If it has any, if it has some. Again, I'll build it. Whether I paint it or not is another matter if it's there. You can see the nice level of detail on the fenders and the Christmas, and some very nice weld detail on the upper section, the upper deck, upper hull. There's some, a little bit of texture on that. Whether it's supposed to be rolled steel, I don't know, but I've got a feeling that a coat of paint will cover that up. And it's some of the other smaller parts. As I say, nothing overly spectacular here, but it's all looking nice and solidly moulded. As I say, without any annoying ejector pin marks where you really don't want them, so far, at least. Yes, some on the inside of the upper hull, but let's be honest, you're not going to see that. It'll be the inside of the hatches, if there are any, if you want to pose them open, that it's a problem. If you want to leave this kit all closed up as a vehicle, I seriously doubt any ejector pins are going to give you problems. So yeah, looks like we do have a full gun breech on here, and a bunch of other little greebly bits, toe shackles, cleats, exhausts, the plastic barrel for the short barrel. What the hell is a barrel? Which, although won't be needed, is slide moulded and rifled. Oh, don't need to take my word for it if it will focus on it. It might not be in focus, but you can see that that's slide moulded and rifled. We have some, again, very nice parts, nothing too delicate yet, so whether the fiddlier parts are overscale, I'm not entirely sure. So no ejector pin marks on the inside of any of the hatches. Some on the inside of those, but they're barely proud, so easily sandable if you need to. And even on this gun sleeve, we've got a tiny little weld seam running across the centre of it, which is beautifully depicted. If I bring that up, we'll be able to see things like the main exhaust split into two parts, but unless it's one either side, which it might be, and some various plates, the catch bag and the back end of the breech, or the recoil crew protector, whatever its correct terminology is. guessing that big old bit there is a gun mount. And various other little greebly bits and slide moulded bits. And all manner of niceness. Now, as to fitment, obviously I can't really comment as I've not built it. But given my previous experience with Bronco kits, they usually go together fairly well with a little bit of fettling. Although, again, that could just be down to me, not necessarily getting things perfect, which is probably more likely down to me. So, next bag we have, which I'm guessing is 4 sprues, which I'm guessing should have numbers on. We have DB, DC and DD. I'm never have a problem with a sprue name double D, so I'm guessing that might be DA then, rather than BA. So here again we're equally flash, unfortunately, where it's weirdly moulded and got bent up a bit in the bag, I think. We have the wheels, armour plates for the upper casement, lovely weld seams on them, a couple of gun mantlets for the longer barrel, the actual longer barrel, and the barrel being solid in one piece, with the muzzle brake, that's the word, being slide moulded one piece ish with an insert and the end section. And a few little grab handly bits and more parts of the gun. Again, nothing nasty on the back of the sprues. Little bit of wispy flash on a couple of the wheels, but nothing we can't just go. A couple of swipes maybe. Bearing I'm not exactly doing this at the best angle, just to get rid of. I mean, yes, it's flash, but how much extra hassle is that to clean up? Right, so let's have a look. You can see there's some very nice, very fine, delicate detail on the wheels, and as I catch them in the light, I'm going to have to look fairly closely, so excuse if you get the top of my head. See if we can get them in. And they are marked up as Continental, so they do have the writing on the sidewall. It's barely visible, this size. And we have the 2 mantlets for the long barrel gun and the slide moulded muzzle brake with the insert, the end, get it in shot, insert and the end, and 2 parts of the gun. This one is just a couple of small hatches, each of which do have an ejector pin in the bottom of them, but shouldn't be too difficult to deal with if I wanted to leave the hatches open, but I'm not a fan of open hatches. I tend to prefer to shut it all up. And unless it's on a diorama or something where there's a reason for the hatches to be open. If I'm just building it as a model and putting it on the shelf, hatches shut. Also gives the local spiders one place less to make a nest, I suppose. Next we get a bag with 2 identical sprues, or 2 identical sprue trees I should say, because they're multiple sprues joined together, and one more little one with 4 piddly little pieces on it, which you can guarantee will be the one that if you lose makes a real big difference to the kit and you can't put it together without it or something. So pop that one back over there as we don't need it at the moment. Shall have a quick look at this, which is CE and is literally, yes, 4 teeny tiny little plates that will just stick on the outside somewhere, I guess. Nothing spectacular. So we have sprues CA and CB, which have more wheels, more fiddly parts. The return rollers, which also say Continental on them. Sprockets and idlers, suspension arms, and final drive housings, and a few other little pieces. So it's probably going to be the first set of sprues you use. Again, even on the main wheels we do have Continental rather than Continental. You're not going to be able to pick it out when it is painted. So even if you can see it, you're not going to notice that it's a U rather than an L at the end. It's just a license dodge, so they don't have to pay Continental. As we can see, again, the same fine levels of detail, good fidelity, sensible size sprue gates, no flash, everything pretty much as it should be. And to me, if this was moulded in grey plastic and had a little picture of a dragon in that corner of the sprue rather than a horse, you wouldn't know it wasn't really a dragon kit. Again, now I can't really comment on the accuracy, as let's be honest, I don't really build a lot of German armour. There's a reason I call most of it targets. And last but one of the main sprues, so it doesn't actually look like we do get an interior, which is kind of a bonus, because I'm thinking I might start building this soon. I really can't be bothered with an interior. And this is just all the Pioneer tools, starting handles, fire extinguishers, blah de blah de blah. All, you know, relatively nicely moulded. Not going to set the world on fire, but hey, they're tools. They look like what they're supposed to. They've got enough detail on them, they're crisp enough. So yeah, they'll do the trick. The wire cutters, the pickaxe does actually look really rather nice. This will be a very good sprue to check for seam lines. And yes, there is. Again, it's only a very slight seam line. It's not like some you see where there's about a 1/4 mil overlap. It's a fine thing that either a quick scrape with the back of your knife blade or a couple of rubs with a sander will get rid of. And the final main part obviously is the upper casement. Casemate. I think casement is the correct term. Although again, if I say something and I'm wrong, point out in the comments, let me know, because then I can learn, you can learn. Everyone learns more, everyone's better off. So we have the clear parts, which consist of two rather foggy looking lights. So let's be honest, I'll probably forget to mask them anyway. And we have the upper casement with all its attendant, well, I assume all its attendant weld seams, panel lines, rivets, bolts, all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, it's crisp, well moulded, doesn't appear to be warped at all. No, sits nice and flat on the cutting mat. Well, it shows you from there to there. But again, I shall bring that up a little closer so you can have a quick look. See, again, there does appear to be a little texture on there. Whether any of the texture will show up through a coat of primer and then a coat of paint is another matter. Are they screw? No, they might be screw heads. You never know. On the back panel, just running across to something very faint. Might be screw heads, might be mounting points or something. We should have a look when we get to the destructions. So, and that just leaves, oh joy, oh joy, oh joy, 2 bags with a total of 8 sprues of track links. But it's Bronco, you're not going to get rubber band tracks. You're going to get indie links, or you're going to get the indie links with individual pins, and yeah. So what do we have? We have, which I'm guessing are the correct type of tracks, and they appear to be very nicely moulded, very well detailed. The sprue attachment points are also in sensible places, so shouldn't prove to be an issue. No ejector pin marks on them either, and yeah, very nice. Obviously there's going to be quite a lot of them to chop off and then put together, but to me that's more a zen kind of thing than a stress inducing nightmare. So we shall put them up so you can see the detail. As I say, very nice Indie Link tracks as usual from Bronco, and on the inside to show yay no ejector pin marks. And as I say, sensible gates, so there shouldn't really be any, as long as you've got sharp enough, small enough pair of nippers, shouldn't be any issues with the cleanup afterwards when you're done. So that's always a result, because it's, even I will admit, it's not that enjoyable clipping off a couple of hundred track links off of a sprue, or multiple sprues as the usual case, only to then find out each sprue you're going to have to clean up all the attachment points. That generally leads to a no moment. So, excuse me, I'm just fudging the bits about so they go back in the bag, or box, sorry. Next we have the, what I call the Bronco card, as we don't get a Dragon card anymore these days, as they've seen fit to cost cut. This just contains the decals and the etch. But again, as I said in the P40, it's a nice solid piece of card, so it keeps the bits that need to be kept flat. So let's have a look at the decals first. Guessing going to be exactly the same as they were in the Warhawk. Really good solid quality. As I say, in a bag with a piece of really nice wax paper over the top to protect them. And oh, they're flat. Oh yeah, there is absolutely no shine coming off the decals whatsoever, and they appear to be in register perfectly. You're not going to see an awful lot because most of them are just white, but they do look to be very nice and very thin, with minimal carrier film on the ones that have to have carrier film, and some of them just don't have any. So I will bring that up and try and avoid any glare or shadows from the light. But as you can see, beautiful set of decals. Nothing wrong with those, he says, as long as they don't fall apart when you put them in the water, which can happen. I've had more than one kit where the decals have exploded the moment they got wet, or the moment you try and put them on the model, which is even more annoying. So, I think I'll be better at opening these baggies by now. What we get in here are the 2 sheets of etch and the metal barrel for the short barrel version, which doesn't appear to be rifled, but no. But anyway, we've got the teeny tiny little, trying to get the glare off, little milled brass barrel for the short barreled version, which is something Dragon don't put in the kit anymore, and the 2 sheets of etch, one of which is, I'm guessing, for the Panzer III, and the other one will be for the stug or Sturmgeschütz. And this is actually fairly thick compared to the Warhawk. Well, this sheet is especially. Now, whether that's done for a scale thing, because this sheet does feel a lot thinner. Oh, slightly thinner anyway. But yeah, thick, solid, dependable. It's not going to bend too easily. And so things like the idler discs on Panzer 3s and 4s are, you know, if the etch is very thin, they're very easy to bend out of shape and all impossible to get straight again. The pieces that do have to be bent have got nice pre-etched bend lines in them, so again that's easy to figure out and sort. And the smaller sheet, we've got the grills, I'm assuming various grab handles and little fighty parts that just titivate it nicely, make it look shinier. Although the same kit number, so might be unique to this kit rather than for a Panzer 3 as well. But yeah, I'll bring this on so you can see the quality of the vents, if you can actually, if the camera will focus, and you can see how nicely detailed some of those parts are. So yeah, everything in the box is looking good. Nothing to complain about so far. Definitely on a par. I would say, if anything, it looks an easier build than the Dragon. There are fewer parts, but it seems to have just a higher parts fidelity. And finally, onto the instructions, or if it was Dragon, suggestion sheet. A little bit of bump about the stug, but yeah, we all know about the Stungerschutz. Again, the usual how to put it all together. Bronco's usual colour callouts: Hobby Colour, Mr. Hobby, Humbrol and Tamiya. Detailed numbered sprue map showing all the parts, which I appear to have, which is always good. And just have a look. And there are no parts blacked out, so it looks like we use all the parts. Ooh, that could be fun. As I thought, sprue C first. We've got the usual wheels, or sprockets, idlers, wheels, suspension going together. All so far looks standard. Exhaust going on the back, they were one piece. It's giving you the numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, and then it's calling those out in the next step as to being the sub-assemblies. And the internal assembly, so we've got the gun going together. And it's not a massively detailed breech, but it's in there. And it's got a mount, so I don't think it doesn't look like there's anything else going in here. Yeah, there's a seat for some random reason. Maybe just so you can stand a commander figure on. With various hatches going into the top hole going on the bottom hole, front plate, a few bits of etch and wing nuts. Lots more little bits of etch going on the back, which will be the tow rope holders. Rest of the hatchings going on to the top of the fighting compartment assembly, antennas, making up the tow cables, and making a Salcop mantlet without installing A16 parts, so gonna have to be keeping an eye out on which mantlet version we're using. That's for the short barrel version, and then for the long barreled version we use the plastic barrel. I'll probably do the long barrel. I'm more of a fan of longer barrels, bigger guns, than I am smaller piddly little ones. Excuse me, again more PE. It's coloured in, the metal parts are coloured yellow, or I suppose it's supposed to look gold. so they stand out in the instructions with the part numbers and how they bend. 93 links per side. That might take a little while. All the bits going on the fenders, showing you which ones are optional if you don't want to put them on, which is pretty much most of the tools, and where to, well, it's saying to drill and then put the little wing nuts in. I think I'd rather just cut the wing nuts off and glue them on flush than try and drill out dozens of tiny little holes. Spare track links obviously haven't gone together, where it doesn't actually say, and the fenders going on. Track links for the Salkopf mantlet. So okay, were they different types of tracks for the two versions? Yeah, we've got tracks KB or KA. So there's actually two complete sets of tracks in this kit for each version of the stug, which is a really nice thing. It's a good price as well. I mean, I think the Dragon ones are going around 50, 55 at the moment. I think the recommended retail is on them, or the general retail. I think this was 35. And as you can see, it's much better instructions. Nice glossy paper rather than that horrible Dragon fold out 3 mile long piece of paper. And we got the markings. So we got the stug 3 Alpha C with a 75mm 40-48, the Salkopf mantlet 44-45, being the long barreled version. And we got the stug 3D Abteilung 186 Russian 1942 with the little stubby gun in the Panzer Grey or Panzerkrieg, and another one from Russian 1941. And that, my friends, is what we get in the box. What does the Wookie think? Well, I think for the money you're getting a damn fine kit. Yeah, semi-straight at least. I say 2 complete sets of tracks in there. Metal barrel for the shorter barrel. The etch. Not a huge parts count, but what's there is nicely detailed. Maybe not right up on a par with the Dragon Stug 3, but certainly giving it a good run for its money anyway. And it should go together a lot easier, with a lot less grief and hassle from the instructions. As I've said many a time in the past, the one piece of aftermarket you need for a Dragon kit is aftermarket instructions. So, on that, I shall bid you adieu. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Any questions or whatever, stick it in the comments down below. If you liked it enough that you might want to see some more, hit the old sub button. Enjoy your modelling. Be good, have fun, rock on, peace, and bye bye.